AssalamuAlaikum everybody. I hope you're all doing well. My name is Chimiq and welcome to or welcome back to my YouTube channel. It has been such a long time since I posted a video. However, I feel that the video topic today is the perfect segue into me coming back to YouTube and being a lot more consistent in my videos. It's so funny actually how everything works. I've been meaning to make a video on just discussing my thoughts in regards to hijab, what it means to even be a hijabi, and how I'm seeing a slow, subtle transition with hijabis today. And lo and behold, I came across this video that's actually been going viral on Muslim TikTok a few days ago, and I was like, you know what, Chimmy, make a video on it today because you know you have thoughts on it. So for those of you guys who are on TikTok or social media in general, there's a video circulating of a Muslim sister. I believe her name is Rawan. I think I'm saying her name correctly, but anyways, she basically made a video talking about how hijab is not being worn properly and how we need to get it together as Muslim girls. Basically, she wasn't sugarcoating, she was very direct, and I think that's kind of what made people feel a bit apprehensive in listening to the message, or maybe uncomfortable. I would say uncomfortable, but I thought she brought up a few good points and I wanted to go over it in this YouTube video. So let's actually listen to it together and see, inshallah. I've never like played someone's video and reacted to it, but I also did plan on speaking about it anyway, so I'll probably go over that a little bit afterwards, inshallah. But let's see what Rawan says.
No one else is gonna say it, so I'm here to say it, because I know I'm not the only hijabi that thinks so. I've been a hijabi for 12 years, and I have never in my entire hijabi life have I ever seen the most embarrassing trends that y'all are doing right now. Because I am so sick and tired of, one, seeing your hair out. That's common sense. It's the bare minimum. Number two, showing your necks. Why are we still doing that? Are the stores all sold out of pins and magnets all of a sudden?
Okay, so yeah, I could definitely see why people have an issue, because she's very direct. One thing I will say is I love a direct approach, and one thing I've also noticed that we do as Muslims, or just people in general, sometimes when we don't want to admit that something we're doing is incorrect, instead of going after the actual message, which is let's wear our hijab better, we attack other things. So in this case, oh no, her delivery's off, so I'm gonna just disregard everything she's saying. But let's not listen to the fact that we're, you know, showing our necks and showing our hair with hijab, which she does bring up a valid point, subhanallah. I've noticed just throughout the years, and I would say even more consistently from last year and this year, hijab unfortunately is not being worn the way it should be worn. You know, we can of course go into the different meanings of what it means to truly wear hijab. I know a lot of the time when people really go into the definition of hijab, it's not just pertaining to, you know, a headscarf, right? It's pertaining to your entire garment. For the sake of this video, I will stick to hijab as being, you know, what we put on our head, what majority of people look at hijab as today, which, you know, myself, when I say hijab, I'm talking about the headscarf, right? We know, or I will say majority of us know, Islamically, when you are to cover your hair, it should cover every single portion of your hair, right? I don't want to say we should know, maybe some people don't know, but I will say briefly, hijab in Islam is to be covering every single part of your hair. So it's not just the general body of your head, right? It's not just the back of your hair or, you know, the side. Hijab is meant to cover every single part. So that does not include leaving your baby hairs out or, you know, your edges. As tempting as it may be, guys, I'm coming to you as a girl that I find it cute, not gonna lie. Okay, when I see that, I'm like, okay, it looks good, but that doesn't necessarily make it right, you know? Anyways, it also means to cover your neck. However, it seems the trend today is to show your neck and to show your hair or your edges when wearing hijab, and this isn't proper hijab. And subhanallah, it's actually very scary to see the amount of people who feel that this is okay, you know? And I think a lot of the time the reason why we don't hear as many people saying these things as blatantly as Sister Rawan is because people are scared of criticism, right? Nobody wants to be seen as the girl that's judging other people. Nobody wants to be seen as the girl that thinks she's better than other people. However, I think it's extremely important. I'll get into this, but you guys know I talk a lot. Let's finish this video.
There's none? I don't understand. Number three, why are you all following the trend of buying Amazon earrings, showing your neck and your ears, and just calling that hijab? That's the new summer hijab style. I'm sorry. I have lived in Arizona for 6 years now. It is 115 degrees every day during the summer.
Oh, wow.
There is no excuse for you to be showing your neck in any way, shape, or form. I'm sick of it. Yes, it's a journey.
Okay, guys, I'm not gonna lie. She has a point with the earrings. Once again, very cute, okay? This is not me saying that everything is hideous. I actually think the earrings are cute. However, what is the point of hijab to begin with, you know? It's to cover your beauty. I think we're very comfortable with the idea of tabarruj. Subhanallah, I'm hitting really heavy points today. And once again, I'm leaving a disclaimer. I don't think I'm better than anybody. And if anything, I think I need to work on many things as well. My struggle might not be yours, vice versa. However, we're so comfortable with flaunting beauty. And I think it's because we compare ourselves to people who aren't Muslim to begin with. So when you compare yourself to people who do not hold themselves to the same standard as you in terms of what you wear, you will always look better if you're wearing hijab, or if you're covering your hair partially, or if you're maybe perhaps showing earrings instead of not wearing anything at all, you know? You will always look a step or two higher if you're comparing yourself to people who aren't doing it to begin with. Higher not in the sense where you're better, higher in the sense where you're doing more. I could definitely see how that's problematic.
Between you and Allah, but I think using common sense is the bare minimum. Like covering your hair is the bare minimum. Covering your neck is bare minimum. And then you can talk about clothes, makeup, etc. after that.
I know people are going to eat her up for that too. That she's basically saying that wearing hijab is bare minimum. And I know, and I could also understand that a lot of people, because hijab is very challenging for many people, of course not all. You guys hear my cat? She's crazy. Let me stop, because I got a few comments saying people thought I treat my cats bad. Well, hey, I don't treat them bad. If anything, they treat me bad. If I could just show you the scars on my body, you'll scream. You will question, Shimmy, why are you keeping these cats in your house and they abuse you? But wallahi, I take care of them. They don't take care of me. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, I know she's gonna get eaten up for the fact that she's saying that hijab is the bare minimum. At the end of the day, the way we wear hijab, let's be honest. Let's be honest, okay? Let's put our emotions to the side. Yes, I could agree and I could understand that hijab is something that's very difficult for many people to do and for many people to wear, especially when you're in the West, right? I'm not even talking about being in a Muslim country. For people that are living in United States, for example, I could understand how hijab could be seen as something that is hard for people to do, but on the grand scheme of things, if you weigh hijab versus everything else that we have to do as Muslims, and not even what we have to do as Muslims, what other Muslims are being prosecuted for around the world, right? It does not weigh as much. If we can just speak from a very logical point of view and not emotionally. Emotionally, I understand it could feel like, you know, the whole world is on your shoulders when you wear hijab and you feel like you're just fighting a huge jihad, which you can feel that way. You're valid for feeling that way. But if you weigh it against what people are being prosecuted for, not just today, back then, think about the things that Muslims were being prosecuted for back then. Hijab was not on the list of one of the things they felt they had to truly battle, you know. And especially today, for many of us, hijab is more so an internal battle for us more than anything, more than the outside world. Of course, you're going to deal with the pressures from the outside world. Oh, you look better this way or that way. But it's more of a mental and internal game than it is when we go outside, we feel like somebody's going to rip our hijab off. That's why I feel like I need to make my hijab halfway, if that makes sense. Not to invalidate the feelings of people who feel that that is a very high chance of that happening to them. I'm not disregarding it. I'm speaking more so in general terms. A lot of the girls, for example, in my area, in general that I see, their hijab isn't halfway because they feel that if they put it on fully, they're gonna get prosecuted. Their hijab is halfway for personal preferences.
But right now, I'm strictly talking about the bare minimum. It's really not that hard. If you can't get yourself to do that, then I'm sorry, this journey is going to be a long one for you. I know I'm not the only hijabi that thinks this and believes this. Believes that this trend is ridiculous and it's embarrassing, to be honest.
It is, okay? It is. Can we just speak bluntly? It is very embarrassing because I feel that we as a society and we as a generation, we are severely dumbing down. And I'm not just speaking in terms of hijab. I will speak for many things now. We are severely dumbing down. We are severely playing down, punching down what it means to be a Muslim. Not just what it sounds like, but what it looks like, what it truly represents, you know. All of these things are what make Islam Islam, not just one facet, right? I think we're so focused on character, which is a very big thing. Adab, having proper character and, you know, treating people in the best way, alhamdulillah, 100%, that is very important. But I feel that we are not people that are truly considering all aspects of Islam. We're rather picking and choosing what is more beneficial to me, and not only what is beneficial to me, but what society can accept from my religion the most, right? So when we talk about characteristics and how Islam promotes good treatment of other people, for example, XYZ, of course this goes hand in hand with Western ideologies and where the West is going today. But let's not talk about the things that might be contrary to popular belief in the West. Let's not talk about how I should actually be wearing hijab. Let's not talk about how I should actually be covered. Let's not talk about how I probably shouldn't go out with a full face of makeup, you know? Let's talk about things that are more accepted. That's an issue. That's an issue because Islam is a full package. Islam is not a, oh, I pick this and I pick that and halas, I'm done. No. You take the whole thing or you leave the whole thing. Don't misconstrue that with me saying you practice the whole thing or you leave the whole thing. No, because at the end of the day, we all try our best, right? Maybe some things are harder for one person to practice over the other. We can all benefit from practicing more in our deen, because I'm not saying any of us are there. Rather, it's the belief that I am content without this facet of Islam. That is a huge issue that I see happening today.
Because when a non-Muslim comes to ask me, oh my God, I love your hijab, and then ask me questions saying, I see some girls with their hair out, some girls with this. Why? Why is that even a question? You're embarrassing.
One more point I want to add to that fact that she said, subhanallah, so true. I had a friend recently who converted to Islam, and she told me that for the longest time she thought that it was okay to show your neck and to wear hijab halfway, because that's how all the other Muslim girls were wearing hijab, and she thought that's what hijab was. Mind you, she's a convert. She's not coming from a background where she was exposed to proper hijab, right? She is coming from a background where there were no Muslims. She's now coming into Islam, and she's just taking what she sees other girls do, or knowing later on in her journey with Islam that that's actually not the correct hijab. That is horrible. I have to say that is horrible, and that is so horrible on us that we have made it so common and so acceptable for this to be known as hijab, to the point where people who are even coming back or coming to the religion feel that this is the right way to practice because that's what everybody else is doing, you know? At what point can we just look at ourselves and hold ourselves accountable and hold each other accountable? At what point can we just say to ourselves, listen, I'm a representation of Islam at the end of the day, you know? I'm not saying 100% Islam is on your shoulders. Of course not. But it's a collective effort. We all represent Islam when we walk outside, and it's our responsibility. No one is absolved from claiming responsibility.
See some girls with their hair out, some girls with this. Why is that even a question? You're embarrassing. Like I said before, I'm living in Arizona where there's booty shorts and bikinis all around me. Does it look like I care? No, because I have more confidence that I don't need to show anything. I don't need to show my little bangies, all right? I don't need to show my little gold earrings. I don't need to do that. Oh my God, Rawan, you're not a girl's girl. You're just bringing other girls down. No, I'm teaching you. I'm helping you. I'm trying to teach you some common sense. And I know everyone else is thinking it, but nobody has the guts to say it. So I'm here to teach you girls.
Rawan is here to teach us. Class is in session. Sit down right now because she taught us something good, okay? Rawan, you said something amazing. Shout out to you, okay? I appreciate you for being very direct and bold in a climate that does not accept that does not entertain that does not welcome that. It's sad to say that it's a climate that's within our own Muslim community, but hey, that's the times we're in now. It's hard to say the things that need to be said, and we are so much more comfortable saying things that, you know, can be seen as more acceptable to the general masses. It's very unfortunate. However, I will say, and maybe my delivery, no, you know what? Before I continue this video, please know that I am not saying anything to put anybody in a corner, to say that I'm better than anybody. Allah knows my faults, okay? The people in my daily life know my faults. This is not me in any way saying that I am absolved from any criticism. Absolutely not. I'm the first person that will gladly take criticism because I know I need it. At the same time, I'm not going to allow that to stop me from saying what needs to be said. We need way more people like her to talk, okay? Because for the longest time, we're so comfortable, and our ears, it's almost as if our ears will only be open to things that are packaged up in such a package that is so pretty and so aesthetic, and it just needs to be like picture perfect with the pink bow on top from Michael's. And if it's not delivered this way, then I'm not going to accept it. I'm not even going to glance at it. I don't care what the person is saying. It's not packaged the way I want. I'm not even going to say it's not packaged correctly. No, it's not packaged the way you want. We really need to humble ourselves and sit down when facts are being spoken. You can have time for, you know, sifting through whether it was packaged good later on. But for the moment, why don't we just pause to look at what somebody's saying? Let's not throw everything away. Let's not, as they say, throw the baby away with the bathwater. With all of that said, it leads me to my final point to you guys, and hopefully it's a reminder that we can all benefit from, which is we need to wake up. Like, I don't know how else to say it other than the fact that we need to wake up, and maybe sometimes someone delivering something to us in a harsh way, a more stern way, is exactly what we need. Because I will argue that people are not mad at her delivery. They're mad at what she's saying. It's only the fact that they could call out her delivery to kind of mask the message of what she's saying, you know? It's so much easier to blame somebody for how they said something than it is to blame them for what they said if you know what they said makes sense. It's just what it is, you know? And it's a defense mechanism that we all have, but we need to just put our egos to the side for once and stand on truth. Stand on business. No, this is not how you should be wearing hijab. You need a sister to tell you that. When a sheikh says it, you say a man can't correct you. Okay, listen to a sister that's telling you it's not okay to wear hijab like that. Honestly, for me, I think it's so sad that we're not able to correct each other. You know, Islam, it's a religion where we're all connected and we're all united, right? This is not a nafsi deen. This is not a religion where, you know what, I work on my own deen and that's it and I don't care about nobody else. No, we're all one community. We're literally one ummah. We're one body. There's like a hadith that says something like this. We're all one body. If one of us feels something, if one of us is afflicted with something, we all hurt, you know? It's like your own body. If your arm hurts, guess what? Your whole body's in pain. You're not thinking, oh, well, the rest of my body's okay, so I don't care about my arm. No. My arm is in pain, so my whole body's in pain. Same thing with the ummah. If one part of the ummah is hurting, we're all hurting. If one part of the ummah is lacking in something, we're all lacking, you know? So we really need to have such a collective mindset when it comes to Islam and when it comes to uplifting and correcting each other. But because of the climate today where, subhanAllah, nobody could be corrected and nobody could be told that what they're doing is incorrect, especially when it comes to Islam. Listen, I'm talking to my sisters, okay? We need to make this the year where we're holding each other accountable. We need to get back on something, guys. If you don't stand for something, you will fall for anything. And listen, I understand the pressure of wanting to wear hijab a certain way. Might I argue that pressure actually comes from other Muslims than it does from non-Muslims, because non-Muslims are used to us covering our hair completely, right? This is new to them too. Rather, it's the fact that, man, all my other friends are wearing their hijab in this way and they're showing their neck and they're doing XYZ. Maybe I want to do that too. It's like we're facing pressures within our own circles. Like how down are we? SubhanAllah, we are down bad, guys. We are just down so bad. I am so happy that she had the guts to say that, and honestly, her saying that motivated me to even speak on the topic as soon as I'm doing right now, and I hope it motivates so many other sisters to just finally wake up. Alhamdulillah, I was reading her comments, and although there were a lot of people that were against her and her delivery, there were also a lot of girls that were saying, you know what, not gonna lie, I need to fix myself up. You know, I wear my hijab like that and I need to stop. And you know what? I blame Vela scarves. Yeah, I blame you. I blame you, Vela. Because at the end of the day, that's exactly how those models wear their hijab, okay? They wear it with their hair showing at the top and then they have their neck showing. It's as if this is how hijab is supposed to be. And subhanAllah, this is a Muslim brand. Anyways, Vela, there's another video for you, okay? Let's not go deeply into that right now. The point is, sometimes we need a harsh reality check, okay? There's nothing wrong with somebody saying, wake up and do better. especially when they're coming from a place of concern. You can never make the blanket statement that somebody that has a more direct approach does not want the best for you. That's not true. Assume the best of somebody. Same way for me, I'm not even just talking about hijab right now, in general. If somebody comes to correct me and I need to have my ego take a seat and I need to train my mind to say, you know what, Shimmy Q, maybe you do need to improve on that. You know, if somebody really saw that within you, at least from their perspective, and you can at least sit, of course, you know, you can definitely maybe bridge between yourself where if it's a substantial claim or not. But if it's something that you could see by just a small amount, it's worth taking into consideration, okay? Don't shut it out because the message isn't pretty. There are a lot of messages that aren't pretty. Stop worrying about the font. Worry about the message. The whole notion of rejecting something because of how it's presented, it's crazy to me and it baffles my mind, and I think we really need to stop using that as an excuse to not listen to something. Let's say, for example, you scheduled an appointment with a very popular doctor, and he's popular for many reasons, the main one being that he's extremely good in what he does. You know, he's been a doctor for 30+ years. He knows what he's doing. His patients that follow his instructions are always leaving his office in better shape than they were entering. So you never doubt the doctor's abilities. However, the doctor does have a strike against him because he's known to be very harsh and rude. Let's just say blatantly, you know, he's a rude man. What can you say? He's one of those men that are just very rude and they don't package anything nicely and they just tell you what it is and they don't care how they're saying it. They're not taking into account feelings and any of that. He just says it. You go to this doctor and he tells you, listen, Jimmy, you need to change XYZ about yourself, and if you don't change it, something bad's gonna happen to your health, okay? You're gonna be really sick. Only somebody that does not use their full common sense that Allah has provided them will say, you know what, that doctor had horrible delivery, I'm not going to listen to anything he says. Forget about what he's saying. No, I hate how he said it to me. Why did he say it to me in that tone? Why did he look at me that way? Why wasn't he reassuring of my situation? Why did he only tell me what I needed to fix? That's not a doctor I'm going to listen to. Somebody that does not want to acknowledge the truth, somebody that does not want to come face to face with the truth, is the type of person that will disregard what that doctor says. However, a person with common sense, a person with a level head, will at least take into consideration what the doctor says. Forget about even applying what the doctor says, you know. We could have the excuse that maybe it's hard for me to fully apply something. Maybe I need to be on a strict calorie deficit and it's hard for me to do that, but I'm going to at least try. Instead of eating X amount of calories or instead of eating XYZ, I'm going to limit it and I might just eat less of it. That's what a rational person would do. Somebody that's full on dedicated and is putting those emotions to the side will cut everything out the doctor said entirely and follow exactly what the doctor said. Why? Because you know the doctor at the end of the day is saying something that's good for you. He might have not packaged it in a very pretty Pinterest bow aesthetic package. However, he still delivered the package. We need to think of that. We need to consider that before we consider minuscule details. You know, I actually feel like that's a trick from Shaitan. SubhanAllah, guys, Shaitan is so crafty and he is so smart, and I feel like we really rate him lower on the intelligence level than we need to, you know. This is how Shaitan gets you. He gets you to focus on the smaller details. The smaller details in comparison to the grand scheme of what really matters. Think about it. Why does it matter? Why do we put so much emphasis on a person's delivery when the message itself is good? This is a completely different argument if somebody's delivery is horrible and their message is horrible, right? I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about something that's well known in Islam, right? Facts that cannot be disputed within, you know, from the ulama on the fact that, you know, hijab is this way. Whether you want to argue with niqab or whether you want to argue with wearing abaya, that's different. However, I've yet to come across any singular person of knowledge. I'm not even talking about a strict sheikh versus a liberal sheikh. I'm talking about all of them. None of them will tell you that hijab is showing your neck and showing parts of your hair. None of them will tell you that. This is something that's strongly known in Islam, that hijab is covering everything, you know? So let's take that into account before we cry. A second point that I also wanted to mention that I find very scary is how we're all enablers of each other. We need to stop enabling each other. Oh my God, I thought, you know what? I was with my friend maybe a few weeks ago, or I was on the phone with her and I told her something. I said, it's so sad to me that I don't feel that I have people around me that will hold me accountable. I'm not talking about anything dunya related. Dunya related, alhamdulillah, I know that there will be people that will hold me accountable. I'm talking about in terms of Islam. I thought about it the other day, and it just made me so sad that I genuinely, as many people as I know, okay, I'm not talking about me having so many close friends. I don't have many close friends. However, I have many acquaintances, and I have many people that I, speak to on a weekly basis. I came to the very sad realization that I don't have many people that I can look at and that I know will hold me accountable for my deen. If they see me slacking, I don't see them saying, Chimmy, I don't see that you've been doing XYZ. What's wrong? Chimmy, maybe your hijab is back. Why? Or Chimmy, you're wearing so much makeup outside. Why? I don't have anybody holding me accountable. And it's not just a me thing. I think us in general, we don't have people around us holding us accountable for things. And it kind of makes you feel like, you know what, because nobody's even pointing this out, maybe it's okay. I'm telling you guys right now, if I were to go out and maybe perhaps show a little bit of my hair and I go to the masjid, I really don't think there will be people that hold me accountable to that will look at me and say, Chimmy, what's going on? Let's see if we can fix something, And that is so sad, because we are looking at correction as something that needs to be avoided, not as something that literally pertains directly to the deen. We need to be a mirror for one another. I'm speaking to myself. I need to be a mirror for you the same way you need to be a mirror for me, And I think a lot of the time, maybe what prohibits people, and I know for myself, what makes it difficult to perhaps speak out on certain matters is because you don't want people to look at you as if you have it all together and now you're correcting me. At the end of the day, none of us have it together. None of us are perfect, right? There is nobody claiming that they have it together. However, it's very good for us all to remember that we all have our strong suits and we all have things that we need to benefit in, right? Maybe covering my hair and wearing hijab the way that I wear it isn't a challenge to me, but it's a challenge to you. And maybe, your mannerisms and how you treat people and just your softness and your gentleness and maybe your overall mannerisms is beautiful. And maybe that's something I don't have. We can both benefit from one another. Nobody has it all together. A professor at a world-renowned, university that teaches physics, for example, an art teacher comes and corrects them because maybe they drew something incorrectly and you were supposed to draw it in a different way. They're not going to be offended like, oh my God, you corrected me for that? Do you know who I am? Like, I have mastered physics. I teach physics in this school. No, because that's not their strong suit. The same way the artist, I'm sure, will accept whatever their questions are in terms of physics. You guys understand what I'm saying? It's so easy when you think about it in terms of the dunya. In such a worldly sense, it's very easy to understand. But then when we apply it to Islam, shaitan makes it so much more complicated for us than it really needs to be. Long story short, we just really need to hold each other accountable, and we need to stop worrying so much about presentation if presentation is ever an issue. We sometimes would really benefit from sitting down and trying to understand, okay, what was coming to me? What was the message that was coming to me, and how can I implement this, if at all, And if I find that I could truly benefit from that message, the packaging at the end of the day doesn't matter. The packaging matters on an emotional level. And I'm not saying that it's okay for people to go about correcting people in a horrible way without akhlaq. There's a reason why mannerisms, having proper manners in Islam is very important. There's a very big and good reason for that. However, we can't limit our Islam to only accepting things that way. Because at the end of the day, what you perceive to be a pretty package, I might think it's ugly. Okay, coming from a crafty girl, I really might think it's ugly. And you might think how I packaged my present to you is ugly. But don't focus on that. What is the present? Open the box. What did I actually give you? Did I give you something good? Did I give you something tangible? Did I give you something of use? Or did I give you trash? I feel like that's very easy to differentiate for everybody if we are to just put our egos aside. So with that being said, guys, let's really try to be better. Let's try. We have to try. Because at the end of the day, guys, our kids are going to get Islam from us. However, think about yourself right now. Chimmy Q, look at yourself. Let me look at myself in the mirror. Where's the mirror? Okay. I really do like this abaya. No, stop it. Be serious. Chimmy, look at yourself. Okay, I'm looking at myself. This is the Islam that your kid is going to see. Doesn't that scare you? look at yourself right now and how you practice Islam in your day-to-day life, and how you are with people and how you are with yourself, and what parts of the deen that you plan on expanding on. That is what your kids are going to see. You realize Islam doesn't end at us. Islam doesn't end at our kids. It's something that gets it's a religion that eventually will get passed down from generation to generation to generation. But guess what? When shaitan allows for small changes to happen and occur over time, what Islam will our kids be left with? That scares me so much when I think about that. I look at, honestly, and it even motivates me to even do better. I'm not saying I want to do all this. At the end of the day, I do things because, I don't know, why do I do things? When I think about why I wear hijab and why I try to limit certain things, wallahi, it's not because I don't like these other things. I love really cute outfits that probably aren't the most modest. I think those are cute. I'm being honest. If it was optional to wear hijab, I wouldn't wear hijab. I do it because this is what Allah told me to do. And I think that is what we need to understand, and that's what we need to remind ourselves at the end of the day. We're not doing these things for each other. We're not doing it for anyone else. It's because this is what Allah asked us to do, you know? So when we take a step away from that, from what Allah has told us to do, and we only live in accordance to what we desire, think about the Islam that we're leaving our kids behind. It's not a pretty one. It's not a deen. It's not a deen that, you know, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam would approve of. I could assure you that, because I look around and I know 100% the Islam that I see many people practicing and how we're very lenient with certain things. It's not a deen that I know was left behind for us. I know it wasn't, but it's because shaitan works in very, very skilled, like very tactful ways, where he knows to leave certain things. He doesn't want everything to be left behind. He does it in increments because he knows eventually it won't be there anymore. Let's not feed into that, guys. Inshallah, I really pray that we're all able to just correct ourselves first and foremost, and then be open to correction. Like if somebody comes to correct me, I need to put my ego aside. Yes, it does hurt. When somebody comes and says, Chimmy Q, you did XYZ and it's wrong, I am gonna be the first person to tell you it hurts me, because I don't like to think that I'm wrong for something. But that's my ego. If I put my ego aside, I'm open to receiving the fact that I need to improve. But when I cling on to the fact that I feel that what I'm doing is okay and I just want to cater my ego and nafsi, and that's when I feel that, you know, I don't have anything to improve. And that is a problem. We all have something to improve. Be open to hearing it. Be open to receiving it. Also, when you think about it, or at least how, when I'm thinking about it now, how we even wear hijab, and I don't know, sometimes it's even hard to call out because you know you fall in these lines yourself, but that just means we all need to improve, right? Wearing makeup, for example, just us being so comfortable with having a full face of makeup, how is that okay? How is that okay? It's not okay. I'm not judging anybody. I can't. I have no right to, because at the end of the day, I'm not gonna lie, sometimes I do wear a lot of makeup out, and that's not okay. But you know, we need to have each other to hold accountable, you know? You see me with the whole face of makeup on outside and you're like, dang, Shimmy Q, what it do for real? Like, just at the end of the day, what am I gonna do? Argue with what's correct? I can't. I can't do that unless I want to look dumb. I don't know. I can't argue with what is meant to be correct. I can't. I can only humble myself in that moment, you know? I think, subhanAllah, so many things today, we made it so common, but just because it's common doesn't mean it's okay. Even intermingling, to the sense where we're so comfortable talking to the opposite gender, hanging out as a group of friends, like, oh, all these guys and us girls, we're not married or anything. I mean, being married and doing that, that's another conversation, but just us hanging out as friends and speaking casually and intermingling, or not wearing hijab properly. Like, shaitan has made so many things that, you know, clearly in our deen we're supposed to not entertain, but he's made it so normal. I think we really need to be more intentful. But that's my message for you guys. Inshallah, I'm gonna be more consistent with my videos. Thank you for 10k. Oh my god, guys, thank you guys for getting me to 10k. I can't believe it, subhanallah. Shout out to everybody that has watched my videos and that has liked my videos. 10k is crazy, okay? I saw it and subhanallah, I was taking a very long break from YouTube. Your girl's just very busy. However, I saw the 10k and it made me extremely happy to know that this many people are subscribed to my channel and want to hear what I have to say. Might not agree with everything, but at least want to hear. I think that's I'm very lucky to have that. So alhamdulillah, thank you all so much. I really do appreciate it. And if I said anything incorrectly, please forgive me. And any good that I said, of course, is from Allah and Allah only.